Hello everyone and welcome back to the Velocity channel, where this is your bridge to financial freedom. Today we have a real life scenario that we are going to solve thanks to Carolyn. So big shout out to Carolyn. You know who you are. Thank you for sending your info in. Thank you for sending your numbers in. We're going to help you solve your problem immediately. Right after this video, you're going to be able to implement what we teach right now, okay, right after it. So before we get started though, please like, share, and subscribe so that people all around the world can know how powerful velocity banking is. So you may be wondering, my goodness, what are we going to do with all of the money that we bring in? I mean, we're bringing in $5,000 each month, but it seems like the bills keep on stacking and there's no way around them. Well, there is a way around them. It's just that we have not been taught the correct way in how to allocate our finances, which is what I want to get into, with your permission, right now. You see here, if we just want to review the loans that this individual has. Now, granted, she does not have a mortgage, but what she does have are some loans at a pretty substantial interest rate, okay? Especially this personal loan. Now, if you're not careful with those interest rates, yes, they will bite you, but as you'll see, it's not going to be as important as time and balance. I can't say that enough. Time and balance is what we need to focus on instead of the interest rates. I'm not saying that interest rates are unimportant. I'm just saying that they are not as important as focusing on time and balance. We're going to show you what we mean. But we have $11,799 at 9% for her auto loan, $1,920 at 14% for her personal loan. She brings in $5,000 each month income. She also has three personal lines of credit. She has the limits and the balances there. One personal line of credit, her limit is $3,000. The balance is $1,461. You probably already know what I'm going to do here, okay? The second personal line of credit is $5,000, right? Her balance is $408. And then her last one, the limit is $450, and she doesn't have any balance on that. And so she just wants to know, how is she supposed to get out of these loans when she does have some obligations here? And so, Carolyn, I do want to introduce to you this, okay? What are your thoughts on choosing one of these personal lines of credit, okay? Maybe $3,000, maybe $5,000. You may be more comfortable with the $5,000 since it is more. You may be more comfortable in deploying that, because what I want to do is I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this as soon as possible, simply because I don't want that to be an issue for you. I know you're handing out, and you didn't share that with me, and that's okay. You're shelling out some minimum monthly payments that perhaps are too high for you, okay? So we want to get rid of this cash flow sucking loan as soon as possible. We want to turn this loan into a line, okay? We want to turn this loan into a line. Why? So that the cash flow that you were shelling out for here can come back to you, okay? And this is how it works. You're going to take $1,920 from this $5,000, and what you're going to do is you're going to do this. Now, how many know what this means? I'm going to draw some arrows. Do you remember that on the Money Max account? Right? Strategic transfer. So what you'll be doing is you'll take from your personal line of credit, which, by the way, is calculated as simple interest, okay? And it's open-ended, meaning it's a revolving account. You pay and then borrow. You pay and then borrow, okay? And then from here, you're going to go ahead and switch that out so that you no longer have this loan to be concerned about, okay? Does that make sense? Let's go ahead and give you a real picture here. You can go ahead and take some screenshots so that you can understand. Now, those of you thinking, well, wait a minute, CJ, wouldn't it all depend on what this interest rate charges? No, it would not depend on that. Not at all. You know why? Because she's going to be taking a portion of her income, because she's a velocity banker, and she's going to be placing that portion right here and placing a portion of her income, of what she spent, right? Of what she is allocating toward that personal line of credit. Now she's going to be spending from her new checking account, which is this personal line of credit, and the money that is left over is what's going to be paying that balance off. So whatever this balance ends up being, it'll be able to be absorbed by part of her income. Because remember, she's getting paid $5,000 each month. If she were to deploy the 1920, right, what would that be? It'd be approximately 3080. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and slow it down and show you the math behind everything I just did, okay, in regards to this personal line of credit. Now, I know that the limit is $5,000, but that's not how much is available to us. What's available to us is 5,000 minus the 408, okay? That's what's available to us. So we're gonna go ahead and just do some of this boring stuff right here called math. You remember that? I hope I'm doing it right? And so just in case, right, you can always check and see if you're doing it correctly by going ahead and adding it up from here as well. Okay, and yeah, we did it right, guys. We did it right. So what we want to do is make sure that we're also, because we are deploying 1920 towards our loan, we want to also subtract that. So this was how much was available to us, 4,592. When we subtract 1920 from that, we're going to come down to this amount. Now, some of you have been on Common Core and don't know what I'm doing right now. That's okay. This is old school math, all right? We get to the answers, all right? 2672 is how much we are dealing with right now, okay? That's how much is in our available credit. And so if that's how much is in our available credit, how much in total do we owe? Let's go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll see how much we owe. All right, so 1920 plus 408 is 2328. Now let's say that she brings in $500 each month in cash flow, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to make sure that she's gonna be okay and doesn't have more of a burden on her than she did before she started Velocity Banking. All right, so let's go ahead and do 2,328 divided by 500. Why? Because that cash flow, remember, is going to be staying in that personal line of credit. And that cash flow, right, is what is going to be paying her personal line of credit down. She doesn't have to worry about a minimum monthly payment because she's already placing a portion, a great portion of her income inside of that particular personal line of credit, okay? Now, this will equal 4.656 months that she will have until that is paid completely off, okay? Her personal line of credit paid completely off, okay? And so this is what we want to do. Let's go ahead, since we finished with that one, we want to go ahead and tackle this one as well. Because these are both, right here, these are 60 months. They want you to stay in these for 60 months. And yet we got rid of this without even trying now, just allocating our finances differently in 4.656 months. Just want you to absorb that. So since we know how to do velocity banking now, we're on to this one. Now, since we finished and now we have the full 5,000, right? So we can go ahead and put across through that one. It's a zero balance. And then we have a portion of this that we can play with as well as our checking account. The big thing about it is, and it would be up to you, is you must make sure that you're using all of the tools available to you to get this number down. Because what we want out of eliminating our debts is the cash flow that the bankers receive. What we want, see, there's a specific thing we want. We don't just want the good feeling of eliminating our debt. We want the cash flow that the bankers have been benefiting from. We want that. So whatever this number is, the minimum monthly payment, 300, 500, 600, they want her in it for 6 years. Or excuse me, 5 years. 60 months, all right? But we want to get out immediately because that cash flow needs to be coming to us. Does that make sense? So we're going to go ahead and make sure we're using all of the tools, whether it's the line of credit, okay, and it doesn't have to be, or whether it's a portion of our income. We need to make sure that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 goes towards this principle so that that 9% is eating off of less and less and less. If you starve the host, have you noticed this? You'll also starve the parasite. If you starve the host, you will also starve the parasite. The principle is the host that the parasite called the interest feeds off of. So if we could just cancel that interest, which we now know how to do, that cash flow comes back to us. And that $500, Carolyn, that you have achieved now becomes 500 plus 300, right? Which is 800. And notice what happens when 500 plus 300 get together and become 800. Okay, let's just use this same example. We have 2,328, right? Let's just use that again. How many months do you think it would take Carolyn to get out if she had $800 in cash flow? Let's ask Alexa. Alexa, what's $2,328 divided by 800? $2.91. 2.91 months. See? So the faster, the more cash flow you have, the faster debt pay down you'll be receiving. Does that make sense? And so you can take a look at this and you can see for yourself how powerful it is when we switch out these little loans. We switch them out with the lines of credit and get them paid off way before 6 months, way before 5 years, right? We're getting them paid off in 4 months. We're getting them paid off in 2 months, okay? As well as if you're looking at your personal line of credit and you can easily eat up these loans, you would want to do that as well. Now, so look, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you enroll in Velocity Banking 2.0 so that all of this can be directed towards you. You can learn it yourself, and you'll even get your own customized Velocity Banking debt elimination plan where you'll know each month where the money is supposed to be allocated to so that you don't have to be on a 60-month term. Can you believe? Look at these numbers. They wanted her to pay for 5 years, to pay them back 5 years. But that's how they make money, folks. Now you know how you'll make money. God bless, and you have a good one.